Enzo Fernández, then, as we understand it, in a situation where advanced negotiations we were reporting last night. What's the situation as it stands?
Well, it depends who you talk to. Sources at Chelsea are still saying there's been no club-to-club contact. They point out the deadline for that £120 million written offer has expired, and they're claiming market movement now, so they're suggesting they want a bigger fee. Manchester City sources seem a lot more confident that this deal will get done, and our information, actually, despite what Xabi Alonso said there, was that it was Enzo Fernández who asked to be left out last night. So I think this move is going to happen. Chelsea.
Does he leave Chelsea though? Because Chelsea need a replacement.
Yeah, they.
I think so.
You don't think they do?
No.
You're happy with that midfield?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I'll explain to you a little bit later why I don't think it's a problem. They don't need to spend any money to replace him. But I think the bigger question is how do Chelsea fans feel about Enzo Fernández? This is a player that they bought for £105 million after the World Cup in 2022. They're going to make a profit on him, which I think is remarkable, really. I think he's been quite good for Chelsea in terms of his goal contributions, assists and goals over the course of the last few seasons. But I wonder how they feel about how he's conducted himself, because there's been a few incidents that have cropped up over the time that he's been at Chelsea. He's also sort of indicated that he would like a move to Real Madrid. Now he's going off to Manchester City. So I wonder how they feel about that, whether they're not too fussed about it. And I wanted to ask you about Emi Martinez, who's also going to come into Chelsea as a goalkeeper. When you were told about this deal yesterday, you said good riddance. Why?
I didn't say that.
Didn't you not?
No, I didn't. I didn't say good riddance. No,
I think you did.
I said goodbye.
Did you?
Different to good riddance. No, listen, Emi Martinez has been fantastic for Aston Villa, but Aston Villa have been fantastic to Emi Martinez. When he joined from Arsenal, he was a nobody. Aston Villa turned him into...
He was an FA Cup winner when he joined.
Yeah, but it's still a nobody, really, wasn't he? That's why he come to Aston Villa. Aston Villa turned him into the best goalkeeper in the world, and I just didn't like the way 3 years in a row he's been trying to leave every summer, which has upset some Villa fans. But when you look at his performances, his saves, everything about his style of play, even the negative stuff, the way he winds up opposition fan bases, Aston Villa fans have loved having him, and he'll go down as definitely a club legend.
It's interesting, isn't it? So I think there's different ways that people react when players leave football clubs. And I just wonder what the feeling is amongst those two fan bases about Emi Martinez going from Aston Villa to Chelsea. Do the Aston Villa fans really care about it anymore? They've got Suzuki now, so are they happy to move on? Are Aston Villa happy to move on from him? Yeah. And the same with Chelsea. Are they in a place where actually they're just comfortable to move on from Enzo?
He wasn't at his best last season, Emi Martinez.
Or at the World Cup.
At the World Cup wasn't at his best. 33 now, but I still think, Sam, that the £8.5 million, keepers play to an older age, don't they?
Yeah.
Oh, have we sold ourselves a bit short with the fee? No, I don't
way.
think he is. He's not at his prime, but I still think we could have got a bit more money for him. Do you reckon, Alex?
The deal all seemed to happen very quickly, didn't it? Because the messaging we were getting out of Chelsea all summer was that they were happy with their goalkeepers. They had faith in Robert Sanchez. They had Mike Penders coming back, who I know you're a big fan of. And it all seemed to change literally after Monday night, when he basically was at fault for both the Fulham goals, wasn't he? And made it quite a chaotic win in the end for Chelsea. And they pivoted to Emi Martinez, who obviously wanted out of Villa with Suzuki coming in. So the speed of the deal, I think you're right. Maybe Villa could have held out for a bit more money, but I'd imagine he's one of their top earners. They've got his wages off the payroll. Is it a concern for you that basically the whole team of last season seems to have left the club, though?
Of course it's a concern, but I done a post earlier on. I said, listen, thank you to every one of the players that have left, because the memories that they have given Aston Villa fans will never be forgotten, that group of players. But this is football now. Aston Villa will move on. We've got one of the best managers in the league who's decided on the players that will come in. Now these new players have to step up. Manzambi's back in training. He's got to hit the ground running. He's got to be our Morgan Rogers replacement. Other players in that, João Gomez, when he comes back from suspension, of course. Goretzka, no Bayern Munich midfielder last season, played more minutes than him in the Bundesliga. He's going to be experienced, got Champions League experience. He's been there and done it. Hopefully we can get some more players in as well. Wan-Bissaka I like as cover for Matty Cash as well.
Rafael Leao.
He wants to go to Aston Villa. He's turning down £250,000 a week to go to Aston.
It's just whenever I've watched him, especially for AC Milan and even Portugal, he literally can turn it on, but he can turn it off. He can literally be a manager's nightmare at times. Sometimes his attitude and he's not tracking back and he's throwing his arms up. But if there's one manager, we keep saying if you're Emery, you can get the best out of players. Hopefully he can, because when he's at it, pace, skill, he can finish. He's got it all. He just needs maybe that right manager to get it out of him.
Interesting to hear what Chelsea fans and what Villa fans make of those departures. Enzo Fernández off to Manchester City, as we understand it, although it's not complete by any way, shape or form yet. And Emi Martinez, who is going to be a Chelsea player, 03717 2233 44. And how much does that move the needle? Because I think everybody said on Monday night after watching Chelsea, the biggest issue they've got is they're never going to win anything if they don't improve their goalkeeper. Well, they've got a World Cup winner coming in the door now. 03717 223344. Does that move the needle? Let us know what you think. You can WhatsApp us on that number. You can voice note us. You can give us a call on the number, or you can text us 81089. We'll talk about how important it is as well in the manner in which you leave a club. You said that if Chelsea sell Enzo Fernández, then they'll need to replace him. I said I'm not as worried about that as some people are. You think that Chelsea will go back into the market, do you?
Yeah, I do, but not necessarily for one of the obvious candidates. As I say, I've done a bit of checking into Alex Scott's future this week. Bournemouth very confident of keeping him. They're not anticipating that Chelsea come back with a fresh offer. There's been no inquiry, despite reports to the contrary, for Adam Wharton to this point. One new name emerging overnight is Lamine Camara over at Monaco. It would probably only cost in the region of 50 to 60 million pounds. Young, up-and-coming player, fits the Blueco model, really. And obviously, if they were to sell Fernandes for 125 million and sign him for 60 million, then that is a decent profit.
I don't think it's urgent, and this is why. Chelsea are going to play only about 50 games this season. They're not in Europe, so they'll play League Cup, FA Cup and Premier League, but that's it. Reece James and Caicedo play in a system in which they will always play. Right, they will play. James is going to play in midfield.
He's always fit, Reece James, isn't he?
I'm just. He was fit last season for most of the season, apart from the World Cup.
Until we got to the World Cup, yeah.
He played for Chelsea for most of the season. I think, but one of the reasons he's playing in midfield is because of that reason, right? Because he can't go up and down and play like a wing back anymore. He certainly can't play at the demanding role that is going to be asked of the wing backs in the Xabi Alonso system. So playing him in the central midfield position makes sense, right? He played there last night, played there Monday night. Caicedo will play every game alongside him. If one of those two aren't there, Lavia will step in and play.
Always fit as well.
Henderson will step in and play. Barco, who played in there last night, was very good. He'll step in there and play. And even Jarell Harto has played in there as well. So, okay, it's not the top-level midfield that you're talking about. Caicedo and James certainly is if they play every game. But Chelsea are only playing 50 games this season. I think between that 6... they'll be absolutely fine. They may get one for the future for next year if they get back into Europe, but they've got a lot of players.
Well, it's okay having a lot of players, and you say Barco last night, you're playing against Luton. No offence to Luton. When you're playing against the big boys in the Premier League...
That's the only game he's played so far, so he can't do any more.
Yeah, but when you're playing against the big boys in the Premier League, you need more than Chelsea are going to have.
Well, Xabi Alonso was quite happy with him last night.
Lavia's always injured, injury issues. Reece James, yes, maybe less running in centre midfield, but when he's playing in these big games, centre midfielders have to run. Doesn't matter if you're a player like Reece James. I still think if you're selling Enzo Fernández, we talk about the goal contributions that he brings to that squad of players, you have to bring in someone else.
Also, don't think that Enzo Fernández necessarily fits in the system as well as the others do, because he plays as more of an 8, a bit further forward, wants to get involved in the goal-scoring action, and those roles are being taken up by Palmer and Rodgers and Esteval.
Yeah. So if you talk about that midfield, then you're happy with that going up against Arsenal, against
that's how they're going to play.
Manchester City.
They're going to
Enzo,
play
Anderson, and Berardi. You're happy with that midfield?
Well, they're going to play Caicedo, James, Rodgers, Palmer in that game. Yeah,
you're happy with those two in there. And if Reece James isn't fit and Lavia's not fit, you're happy with someone else coming in there.
Well, you're just inventing injuries now, aren't you?
Just their record.
So if Manzambi doesn't play for the rest of the season, are you going to be happy with the midfield at Aston Villa? You don't know that.
He's not injury prone like Reece James and Lavia.
Well, he's turned up injured.
Yeah, but he's not injury prone.
All right, okay.
Okay, am I right here on the injury problems for?
They've had injuries. They've had injuries.
I can see both sides of the coin. I mean, Sam's right. It's not going to be a particularly exhaustive season in terms of fixtures. But yeah, I think they would need another body in midfield. Just going back to the Enzo Fernández debate, you asked the question: how will Chelsea fans regard him? You know, what kind of farewell will he get, assuming this move goes ahead? I spoke to a lot of Chelsea fans who can't wait to see the back of him. I wonder how the players view him, because obviously you had that incident with the racist chanting that you had to apologise for. You had him stripped of the captaincy and taken out the team when he was hankering for a move to Madrid. I wonder if the players think he's a pain in the backside as much as some of the supporters.
Dave in Ruislip says, Enzo's world class, showed it at the Club World Cup and in the Conference League final against Betis. He's an elite player who has had to play in front of a shaky defence for the last few years. All the management changes affected the whole team. As a Chelsea fan, him going is great business as there's a positive vibe around the club and we wish him well for the future. I tell you what, there is definitely a positive vibe in that dressing room. And I was in the tunnel last night for a long time, and the atmosphere was completely different.
Are you getting carried away a little bit? I mean, that game against Fulham was chaotic.
What have I said?
Well, you think Chelsea are going to finish in the top 2? You know, you haven't ruled out
centre midfielders.
You haven't ruled out a title push. You look at that Fulham game.
They'll get into the Champions League. I think they'll finish higher than everybody thinks.
You think they'll finish second? Is what you said.
Well, that was my prediction when we did the BetMGM.
But do you still believe that, Sam?
I think they'll do very well.
That game against Fulham was excellent for the neutral. But it was chaos as well, wasn't it? Defensively, you were all over the shop. The goalkeeper was chucking him in. Never really had control of the midfield. Front three, brilliant. But I still think there's other areas of the team.
One of the main defenders was suspended, and also they've changed the goalkeeper since then.
Yeah. Just think you might be getting ahead of yourself.
No more is this guy.
We'll know more about Chelsea this weekend when they play Brighton.
We'll know a lot more about them next weekend after they played Arsenal. We're looking forward to that.
We will.
We know a lot about a lot more teams when they play games, funnily enough.
That's how it works. Calm down. You're getting a bit too carried away.
Yeah, all right, okay. Morning, gents. Enzo Fernández going to Man City leaves a bitter taste, especially this late in the window. However, you've got to question Enzo's personality here. When we were linked with him, he was kissing the Benfica badge. He has been fighting with Havertz and Mount every time we played them for the way they left the club, and now he's doing the same. It's a fickle old sport. Great performance from the young kid Barco last night, so take the 120 million for Enzo and wait for Caicedo to let him know he's there early when we play.
Tough game for Barco.
Chelsea fan.
Yeah.
Right, let's speak to Roger, who's a Chelsea fan. Hello. Roger, come on, call some order to this because these boys are being a little bit playful this morning.
Hello. Morning, guys. I think Martinez is a definite upgrade on Sanchez. All the Chelsea fans for the last 3 years have been saying we aren't going to win anything big, i.e. a Premier League, with Robbie Sanchez in goal. He's a great shot stopper, but he's so erratic. You know, he'll put off 2 or 3 world-class saves, and all of a sudden he'll throw one in the net. But if you look at Martinez's stats for last season versus Sanchez's stats, there isn't a huge difference. Someone showed it to me last night. I was quite shocked. But Martinez will give confidence to that back four. I mean, the Fulham game was a prime example. You know, we were electric going forward, but every time Fulham threatened the goal, you just knew Sanchez was going to do something silly.
You know what else you can do now as well as a team? You can pass it back to your keeper and relax and let him find a pass as well. Look at the amount of chances that he makes for clubs as well with his passes from the back, his long kicks as well, Martinez.
Yes, I agree, Gabs. And I think Martinez, for the money that we're going to get him for, allegedly, is 1,050% upgrade on Robbie Sanchez. And Enzo has a few good games for Chelsea, but I don't think he's ever justified 105 million price tag from Benfica in all the games that he's played. And if we are going to get 120 million from Man City, I agree with Sam. I don't think we need to panic and rush out and try and overspend on someone just to get someone in. I think because we've got no other competitions bar the Prem and the 2 cups, I think we can handle it with the squad we got.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? You know, they're not panicking, not needing to go out and spend a load of money because they don't have the workload that the other clubs have. That's my point. I know these boys are picking holes in the Chelsea midfield, but we'll see what happens at the end of the season. Dave
says a few holes in the midfield.
Morning, gents. Chelsea season ticket holder here for over 30 years. I think Chelsea started with a win last weekend, didn't they? How did Manchester United get on?
I'll talk about Manchester United.
Oh, right, okay. So I was just thinking, sorry, I just said holes in midfield and I just immediately went there. Chelsea season ticket holder for over 30 years. We'll be more than happy to see the back of Enzo. And nobody's bigger than the club. And to be honest, never really rated him. Very pedestrian in midfield. Doesn't have the spark or anything exciting about him. I think he just personifies the term mercenary. In the words of Gabby, good riddance. I agree with you, Sam. Don't really think we need to replace him. We now have a decent manager, decent squad, and no more of this sideways, backwards nonsense that we had to watch over the last 2 years. Look forward to the season even more without him in the squad. That's from Dave in Surrey. 03717 223344. Gabby says Ryan, the Chelsea fan, miles off it.
Oh,
Villa didn't make Martinez a big name. The World Cup did.
I disagree. Aston Villa did. Before he come to Aston Villa, he was a bit of a nobody. gets to play his best football at Aston Villa. But I do agree as well, you know, Martinez going to the World Cup and winning the World Cup and becoming the best goalkeeper in the world did bring Aston Villa up a level as well.
Aston Villa's Holt End, fantastic place to be, yeah?
Yes, of course.
It's great noise, always jam-packed, especially Champions League nights.
Yes.
Great tifos, great banners, great just entertainment, love it. Chelsea's brilliant Matthew Harding End, absolutely superb in terms of conjuring up sort of like, you know, great banners and great sort of points to the history.
Yes.
The Cop End, the Stretford End, which is, they've spent a lot of time trying to make that even better.
Yeah.
And the Homesdale Road End at Crystal Palace, which is really intimidating. But
it really is.
Their fans that organised that for a very long time, the Homesdale fanatics, are calling it a day. We'll tell you why next.